Okay, we're actually doing this on time for once, and on the right day, too. I'm very excited about that. Not often I can do that lately. One thing before I get started. A bunch of people have asked me if I'm done reviewing comic book, superhero type shows and whatnot. The answer is no, I am not. There is a new review show coming. I've had a bunch of setbacks due to getting sidetracked with work stuff and then getting sick a couple times. I was really hoping it would be starting up by now, but it just stuff happens, stuff gets in the way sometimes. But it is coming. It is coming. In fact, I have a microphone that I bought here. Got it a few days ago. Haven't had a chance to get it tested yet, but that's what I'm going to be using. Hopefully it turns out alright. I might do another stream later this weekend to test it out. But I've got just about everything I need, so hopefully the setbacks are done now. But it is coming, so get hyped for that. Anywho, Bound for Glory was this past Sunday. And long story short, I was thoroughly underwhelmed and unimpressed by that show. I thought the booking was lousy. The matches ranged from really good to really bad. Most of the match finishes downright sucked. The El Patron promo segment was terrible. It dragged on way too long, and it threw off the timing of the entire pay-per-view, and in my opinion, they shouldn't even have done it at all. And that's all I really care to say about the pay-per-view right now. If you want my much more detailed thoughts, you can go listen to the latest episode of the HeelCast, where we review Bound for Glory in depth for 2 hours. I'll put the link down there. But enough about that, let's talk about Impact, a show that, to be honest, I thought was better than Bound for Glory in a lot of ways. If only for the fact that nothing really stupid happened, there was no American top team, thank Christ, and the match finishes actually made sense. See, Impact, it's really not that hard. It's not. So, the show begins, as it damn well should, with the winner of last night's main event and still World Heavyweight Champion, the perpetual motion machine of badassery, Eli Drake. Starting the show with an Eli Drake promo segment. Damn right. So he boasts about still being the champion, says there's nobody left for him to beat. He was, injured in the match last night, so he's got the night off. He says all the stuff that heel champions are supposed to say. Does Canada is garbage because he had to go that extra mile to get that Canadian crowd to hate him because they were pretty into him when he came out at first. So he had to work a little bit harder. He says, Canada is garbage. He gets them all riled up, which sets up Petey Williams to come out for the big pop. And then Petey's all like, hey, Eli, you say you've beaten everyone? Well, you've never beaten me. And, I want a title shot tonight, God, consarn or whatever. And, so Eli Drake does the WWE thing where he says, oh, you want a title shot? You want a title shot? Okay, let's do it! But not tonight. Crowds fall for that every time, even though you can see it coming a mile away. But, Petey tries to fight him anyway, even though Eli says that the medical staff has not cleared him for that night, so it's not like he's faking an injury here. He actually isn't cleared. But so I'm not sure why we're supposed to boo him for that. But anyway, Petey gets rid of Adonis. Adonis goes down like a bitch. And then tease the Canadian Destroyer, and then Adonis pulls Eli out. It's a pretty hot segment here. They got the crowd excited and pumped up. I don't see Petey Williams going after the world title as something that's going to interest a lot of casual fans or draw, big ratings, quite frankly. I don't think that's a viable long-term feud, but doing this in Canada does ensure that the crowd is going to be really into it. And if they're going to be shooting more TV up there in the future, which they said they're going to do, they've got to give those fans a reason to come back that doesn't involve them getting paid to sit in the audience. So, what the hell? Let's do it. Jimmy Jacobs newly released from WWE, comes out to join the announce booth. I would prefer he join the writer's room, but apparently he's working as a producer, and, well, that's a step in the right direction. So Sanjay Dutt and Matt Sydal happens, and not long into the match, Jimmy Jacobs leaves the announce booth. Well, thanks for coming, Jimmy. Yeah, just go to the writer's room. Don't make any pit stops. Just go there. You can go set up shop in there, hopefully. Straightforward match here. Sydal wins with a shooting star. It's good, but it feels needlessly long and slows the pacing of the show after that hot opener. I think this should have been a much shorter match. I mean, not like a 90-second squash or anything, but they didn't have to give it this much time. Apparently, the purpose of this was to give Sydal a win to set up EC3 coming out and mocking him about it, but if that was the case, the match really didn't need to go that long. The story here wasn't about the match, it was about EC3 mocking Sydal about the match. Speaking of which, EC3 comes out, and he's back in heel mode, apparently, so they turned him heel just to turn him face over the summer for the AAA thing and just to turn him heel again? I don't get it, but he never should have turned face over the summer anyway, so if he's back in heel mode, okay, thank you, I'll take it. So he sarcastically congratulates Sydal on getting another win, and I had more screen caps of that, but they got lost somehow. Says Sydal he comes up short when the pressure's on, so he chokes in high-pressure situations. He was beating Bobby Lashley a matter of weeks ago, and now here he is back in the X Division facing Sanjay Dutt. That's a pretty steep fall. No offense to Sanjay. So Sydal has no killer instinct, and, I'm a killer, Sydal, but you're a nice guy. Maybe in another life you could have been reborn a winner. Oh, snap. This is more like the EC3 that we need. Get him away from the AAA stuff. This is the EC3 that we need, like the smart-ass, wisecracking EC3. It's a good, entertaining promo. I'm thrilled to have EC3 done with that AAA nonsense, back to being a heel, seemingly, and starting a potential singles feud with another actual member of the Impact roster. Having said that, I'm not exactly sure why EC3 would even care about what Matt Sydal, of all people, is doing. So I don't really know why he came out there. It seemed like kind of flimsy justification to start a rivalry, but it's not the AAA feud, so it's an automatic step up from what EC3 was doing before, by virtue of that alone. So here we have a new feature, the Global Wrestling Network app-exclusive match. They show an old tag match from back in the day. And honestly, I thought they showed way too much of the match, and they didn't even show the right parts. They start this thing, and the match begins very slowly with like rest holds and stuff. And this whole thing, it takes too much time. Just quick clips and highlights. Just the exciting parts of the match. This should take 30 seconds max, Impact. It started out slow, and it took a while to get going. You don't need to show that much. Just quick clips and highlights. That's all you need. That's all you need. I don't know why you're showing any boring parts of the match. The intent is to get people to get the Global Wrestling Network. Just show the exciting parts. Anywho, here's something new. Eddie Edwards is still defending the GHC Noah title, but now he's doing it on Impact against a AAA guy. Okay, so I guess it sort of qualifies as one of these international type segments, but it's a little different. So you got the Impact talent with the Noah title on Impact defending against a AAA guy. Now this is interesting. Now it helps that the AAA guy is the guy that he was feuding with, for the last little while. And they did actually set up this match. Phantasma gave Eddie that sick pile driver on the ring apron at Bound for Glory. So there's a reason to have this, because Eddie wanted this match. So it's not taking place in a vacuum. There's something behind it. Yeah, the something behind it is a really shitty, horribly executed feud, but it's something. And it's better than nothing. So, excuse me. So you have JB introducing each guy separately, and they stress that it's the first time the GHC title is being defended on North American soil, because I guess Canada is technically North American soil somehow. And you got like the NOAA representative there, and they tried to make this look like an important thing. I think they could have done a little more. Maybe shown some kind of hype video stressing what a big deal it is that it's the first time it's defended on North American soil, They could have done more with it, but they did something here. And it felt relevant. It did. Good match. Eddie wins. It's not a bad segment at all, but they haven't done a lot to make me care about the GHC title yet. What I want to know is, why should I care about the GHC title in the context of Impact? Now, they've kind of shown that it means a lot to Eddie, but I don't know. They really haven't explained this whole international segment concept thing very well at all yet. I think it's one of the things that's getting lost in the translation. Like I said, I think I got another glimpse of what they're going for here, but the whole thing needs to be explained a lot better. But they're taking baby steps. And I'll take baby steps over no progress at all. After this, we get a triple threat. We get OVE and Sami Callihan, who showed up at Bound for Glory in a debut that was kind of botched, to be honest. Again, listen to the HeelCast. Versus 3 jobbers. The bell rings and Sami Callihan kicks that one guy's head off him immediately. That was kind of funny. So yeah, OVE just get the dominant win. They pretty much destroy these guys. And first impressions, OVE look much more comfortable as heels. Much more comfortable. They probably should have been heels the whole time, to be honest. Them being babyfaces always felt a little bit awkward. Now they look like they're more in their wheelhouse. So then LAX jump out of the crowd and attack, and a big brawl ensues, and then Sami escapes the Gringo Killa, and they do the stare down, and I guess this feud is going to continue. Probably because they don't have any more viable tag teams right now. So the writers have definitely made some tweaks to this feud, adding Sami Callihan and switching the face-heel dynamics. A lot of fans weren't really getting behind OVE that much, and most people just did not want to boo LAX at all. So these changes may have been forced upon them, but I think they're going to help a lot. OVE had been starting to grow on me prior to the turn on Sunday, but this definitely feels like a better role for them. And I kind of felt like LAX probably should have been babyfaces since they came back. Given the current political climate, it just made sense to me for them to be faces. Or at the very least, badass tweeners who don't encourage you to boo them. Because, with all the xenophobia being propagated, being put out there by our president, and given how the whole country is kind of turning on him for that and many other reasons, it just you don't really want to boo a team like LAX, It just seems like a better idea for them to be put in a position where you can cheer them, and that's okay. Anywho, we zoom over to Border City Wrestling, also in Canada, for our knockout match of the week. Allie versus Casey Spinelli again. So Spinelli making her second appearance here. And again, we're seeing signs of them trying to refine these international segments so that they don't feel like filler. JB informs us that Casey Spinelli said that beating Allie would earn her a spot on the Impact roster. Now, I'm not sure why or how Spinelli thinks it would be that easy, and we really should have seen her explaining that in a promo segment instead of just hearing about it secondhand. But at least it's some kind of story to latch onto with this. So again, not taking place in a vacuum. Good. Now, I assume that we're going to continue to see Spinelli in matches like this one until she gets a win over one of the knockouts and then joins the roster for realsies. And that'll be how they introduce her. Okay, that's something. The next step would be to give us a reason to root for her or against her as she tries to do this, because right now we don't have either one. But at least this makes sense, and so far there don't seem to be any giant gaping holes in it, like with that terrible AAA feud. The match is fine. The crowd was really into it, which helps a good amount. Although Impact still need to address the production issues. The Border City Wrestling aesthetics still just don't look good. There's still that ringside camera shot where the lighting is way too damn dark. They need to address these things. And if the aesthetics of these international segments don't look like professional quality, then just don't air the segment, you guys. Or, I don't know, fix the lighting and reshoot the match, maybe? It's not like this is happening live. You can make changes if you're so inclined. And do you want your show to look good or not? I mean, think about it. So Allie wins. It's basically just like a competitive enhancement match. But for Allie, that works. And that's 2 matches and 2 losses in a row for 2 scoops. They're going to make it hard for this girl to get over if they keep doing this. So hopefully they'll start advancing her story before too long. I mean, it's okay if she's taking losses, but the story has to move. You know, she can't just be this girl who wants to get on a spot on the roster and then just keeps losing random matches over and over until finally she wins one. Or flukes her way into a win or whatever. I mean, it's gotta, like, next time we see this, maybe she's gotta be acting more aggressive or more desperate to get that win, or just something to make us invested. Like I said, we gotta root for her or against her. One or the other, but pick one. It can't be neither, if you want us to care. So after this, we get a backstage interview with Hakeem Zayn, who apparently won that Global Forge thing, which I still don't even know what that was, really. But I guess he's on the roster now, and wow, did they just instantly shit on this guy. McKenna introduces him, lets him talk. He says something like, "I am the winner of Global Forge, and that means that I'm really important." And then they immediately show the audience that he's not important by having Johnny Impact just run in, steal the camera away from him so he can talk to Patron. And not only does Hakeem Zayn just let him do it, but he just disappears from a segment and he's not even mentioned for the rest of the night. Impact. If you wanted to present Hakeem Zayn like a star, like someone that we're supposed to be excited for, that was not the way to do it. That was the opposite of what you're supposed to do. You made this guy look like a complete jabroni in his first appearance. You gave him the Swole Mates treatment. Think about that for a minute. And the final segment of the show is something a little bit different. We got Johnny Impact finally finding El Patron, and they spent something like 15 minutes just brawling backstage, which you'd think would get boring and redundant after that long, but it really didn't. They kept the energy level high, and they put in this really cool spot where Patron climbed up up to the roof of that bathroom or locker room or whatever it was, and like to try to escape. And then Johnny Impact like parkours up the thing, so he's up there too. And then Patron climbs down, but Johnny just dives off the roof onto a ton of security guards. That was a sick spot. That was awesome. You see, this is a much better way to use Johnny Impact. Talking very little and just focusing on those crazy spots he can do that set him apart from everybody else. This is way better than the stuff he was doing before Bound for Glory. I'm sorry, but when he tries to act like the cool guy and talks more than he absolutely has to, he comes off like a tool. But he's cool when you present him like this. And then they brawl into the arena, and Johnny even gets a good line there with the "you're not even the pride of your own father" crack, and it was actually well delivered, which is not always the case with this guy. In fact, it's usually not the case, but this was probably his best promo since he's been in Impact, and it was 2 sentences. Like I said with his promos, just keep them short and sweet. And you know what? No, wait. No, there was more. Then Patron, jumps back in the ring and tries to break his arm with the arm bar off the ring ropes, and that's where we end things. And this whole segment was really cool. Yeah, it was. No sarcasm there. This was a cool segment. This was my favorite thing Johnny Impact has done since he came to this company. I like that they didn't just have a match. They went outside the box here and tried something different from what they normally do, and it felt really refreshing. The performances were great, and they finally got Johnny Impact right. This is a guy whose star shines less the more he talks. So they had him say very little here, but when he did say something, it mattered. Otherwise, he was just doing the cool high spots that people want to see him do, and it came off really well. If you keep presenting Johnny Impact like this, you might actually turn him into a character I can get behind. So, yeah, I enjoyed Impact more than Bound for Glory. Bound for Glory frustrated me in a lot of ways. This was fun. This was an enjoyable show. Now, keep in mind, Bound for Glory didn't set the bar all that high, but I do mean that as a compliment. It wasn't perfect. There's a lot of work to be done, but this show was pretty painless. They didn't do anything stupid, aside from Hakeem Zayn getting instantly thrown under the bus. And they went out on a high point. Bound for Glory gave me a pretty bad feeling about the new creative team, but this show gave me a little bit of hope. Nice job. Man, my voice dying out again already? Jesus Christ. Okay. Didn't like Bound for Glory, but Impact was good. Yep, agreed. What the fuck was Bound for Glory? Yeah, that was a question we were asking ourselves a lot in the HeelCast. Again, I'll put the link down there, or you can check it out on impactasylum.net. 2 hours. It's a pretty long show. There's 4 of us in there. But yeah, what the fuck, we were asking ourselves that a lot. Okay. The production is once again not up to par with the Impact Zone. They don't even have more people there for the Impact tapings. Yeah, but the crowd is actually awake. So they got that going for them. They should skip Ottawa from now on. That crowd was deader than a haggard zombie. I thought the crowd seemed mostly dead for Bound for Glory, but I heard from people who were there who reported that the crowd was actually hot all night long. So apparently that was a miking issue. And Jesus Christ, after all these years, they still can't figure out how to mic a crowd properly. They got to work on that. I thought the crowd was good for Impact, though. Let's see. The backstage area was bigger and better lit than the actual arena. Okay. I was hoping Eli Drake would turn babyface. He's the most over guy in the company. I don't know if he's the most over guy in the company. I think, I would argue that LAX and Rosemary, possibly James Storm, are more over. But yeah, I mean, at some point they're going to have to turn Eli Drake face, because they've been going against the grain, trying to make that guy a heel for a while. Petey should have won the X title. I like Trevor Lee as a wrestler, but he's too bland. I don't know. I think Trevor Lee's been pretty entertaining recently. But yeah, Petey winning the X title, I'm not going to disagree with that. I was okay with Trevor Lee winning, but Petey not winning did kind of take some of the wind out of the crowd's sails. So yeah, let's see. Okay. One weekend and I already missed James Storm. Don't get me started on James Storm. God damn it. That is depressing. What happened to James Storm? Well, it's not really a secret. You can go on any wrestling site and they'll tell you. Okay. Alright, we want some people to get Jimmy Jacobs an OVE, I guess is a new version of the Decay. Here's a better idea. Re-sign Crazy Steve and bring back the original Decay. Steve had that WWE tryout, and apparently they passed on him, so he's a free agent now. What's stopping you? I mean, he's Canadian, so you probably wouldn't have to pay for that much travel for him. You do need tag teams right now. I'm just saying. I would not say no to having Crazy Steve back. Would a From the Vault segment on Impact bring in more viewers showing classic matches and moments? I don't think so. Yeah, I wouldn't say no to it, but again, they gotta keep these things short and sweet. 30 seconds is all it should take. Like a flashback moment to the Asylum days, or like the early Impact Zone days, or the Fox Sports Net days, or whatever. Just quick clips. That's all you need, just the exciting parts. The point is to get people interested, grab their interest. You don't do that by showing like a 10, 15-minute thing. Just show some classic spots, like Elix Skipper walking across the top of the cage, and say, hey, you want to see the rest of that match? Buy the Global Wrestling Network for, what, $8 a month or whatever. But showing the entire match or the entire segment, no, I think that's, you give them a little bit and then you make them pay for the rest. It's like a drug dealer. You get a little bit for free, then you got to pay for it. You don't give them the whole thing for free. Let's see. Who from Impact should appear on Lucha Underground? Well, I don't know. I don't watch Lucha Underground. Apparently Johnny Impact and Taya are still going to be on there. But I don't watch Lucha Underground, so I don't really care. Schleg Daddy did a video commemorating 20th anniversary of the Montreal Screwjob. Have you seen the video? No, I have not seen it yet. All right. Gail should have lost the match. Allie should be Knockouts champ. All right, I both agree and disagree. I do think Gail should have put somebody over in her last match. Something I go into that a lot on the HeelCast review. Allie should be the Knockouts champ? Don't agree with that yet. I mean, they have progressed her character to a point where she can now basically wrestle to her full, cherry bomb, at her more or less her full cherry bomb capacity, but she's still regarded as like a newbie, and like the sweet innocent up and comer. I have no problem with her getting title shots, but there's I mean, why do you want to rush it? There's so much more they can do with her character before she gets the title. Now, I wouldn't delay it forever, but there is a journey here. There's character development that they can do that'll just make her eventual title win all the more satisfying. If you do it now, you're just skipping over a lot of character development that you could be doing, and it's just why rush things when you don't have to? I mean, in a way, Allie winning the title right now would almost make her less interesting because it feels like you just skipped over a bunch of stuff. She doesn't need the title right now. She really doesn't. I mean, she's certainly one of the most over knockouts. She's probably the second most over after Rosemary. She really doesn't need the title. Now, she can win it in the future. I would probably have her win it before the end of 2018. But she doesn't need it right now. Not yet. It's a right time, right place, right story scenario, and right now it's just not the right time for her, in my opinion. What's up with Impact paying fans to watch the show? Just putting it out there. I also saw an article that said that WWE was paying people to sit in the audience as well. I don't know how accurate these reports are, but I did see something that said that. They want to put people in the stands somehow, because apparently I guess they didn't advertise enough or whatever. I think it's setting a dangerous precedent, because if people start thinking they can get paid to go to these shows, it's just going to make it that harder for them to sell tickets. Because are you going to buy a ticket if you think you can get paid to go if you hold out a little while? In my opinion, instead of paying people to go to the show, just pump that money into the advertising budget and advertise these shows more. They did sell out Bound for Glory apparently, so they can draw a crowd in Canada if they put their minds to it. So just put that money into advertising. Think Owens and Zayn being dropped off the European tour, do you think it's a work or a shoot? Probably a shoot. I don't know why they'd send them home for a work. It's just a needless expense to send them home from the European tour. A brawl with Alberto and Johnny was awesome. Agreed. Okay. Why are wrestling writers so inept when it comes to something that you'd think would be simple? Oh, God. Dude, you're preaching to the choir. I couldn't tell you. On that note, Impact Asylum is doing this thing where, doing this competition, where, people, visitors of the site or people who frequent the site, can have the opportunity to, fantasy book the next 5 Impact shows after Bound for Glory, as well as the following pay-per-view. And there's a prize of a Shop TNA gift card or something for the winner, being judged on by a panel and stuff. I'm going to enter that thing if I have the time, and I guess anybody can do it. So if you go to impactasylum.net, you can check that out. But yeah, it's really not writing storylines that make sense. You'd think it wouldn't be that difficult. It's really not. But they can't seem to get out of their own way sometimes. And I'm talking about every company here, not just Impact. Hopefully they bring in some new women wrestlers and not former knockouts who will leave in a month. No spoilers, but that's going to be happening. And Johnny is better as a heel. A lot of people have been telling me that. Okay. A lot of messages deleted right there. Thoughts on Thor Ragnarok? I talked about that last week. The short version is I really enjoyed it. It was very funny. I almost thought it was a bit too funny, though, because you kind of got so conditioned to laughing that the dramatic moments didn't really hit you as hard as they should. But it's definitely a very fun movie. What's the deal with LVN? Is she going to wrestle or act like a clown in the stands all the time? No, she's going to start wrestling again. Again, no spoilers, but they're out there if you want them. Don't like how there wasn't many title changes Bound for Glory, so the next title changes will be on Impact. I hate that. I don't know, the lack of title changes didn't really bother me. Well, the Knockouts title change bothered me. I think they could have switched the X Division title, but believe me, Bound for Glory had a lot of problems. Not enough title changes wasn't one of them. Again, listen to the HeelCast. They need to revert back to the old championships or make new ones. The world title with the Impact bumper sticker and the GFW side plates is embarrassing. Man, I gotta tell you, man, I don't know why they don't just go back to the old Impact Wrestling belts. They looked good. There was nothing wrong with them. Why is Eli Drake still carrying around the GFW title with the Impact sticker over the front plate? It looks so, God, it looks so cheap. Again, then there's that shot in the opening segment where they zoom in on the GFW plates and the belt. It's like, guys, why are you doing that? Oh my God. Just go back to the Impact Wrestling belts. There's nothing wrong with them. Love her or hate her, the last few months goes to show that Dixie Carter was never the root cause of the problems, and seeing the problems they have now, where they don't have a name or much of a creative team. Well, rest assured, Dixie Carter was the root of a lot of problems. She just wasn't the root of all the problems. And I tend to think a lot of the creative issues we got from the August taping block was because that's probably when Jeff Jarrett was having his troubles and his alcohol issues. So that's probably where the creative team went off the rail, because I believe he was still head of creative at that time. Which would explain why creative for that whole set of tapings was a big mess. They should start a tournament, bringing in wrestlers from other companies all the way to Genesis, and have the finals be Allie versus Sienna, with Allie going over. Disagree. I still think it's too early for Allie to win the title. She doesn't need to win it yet. Bringing in wrestlers from other companies. I don't know, maybe to fill out some tournament brackets, but I don't know, unless they're going to be sticking around. I think they should really limit these. Let's say this. They should limit these talent exchange things to other companies to things that really matter. If you're just going to bring in somebody for a few random matches or a tournament or something and then they go away, and what's the point? Yeah, in that case, I'd prefer they just use their own talent. If you're going to do a talent exchange thing and bring in somebody from another company, you got to give that person a journey. Give somebody, set them on a path that has a beginning, a middle, and an end. Unlike what they did with Marufuji, which is just bring the guy in, he works a few random matches, and then he disappears. So you're left feeling like, what was the point of that? There was no point. Rosemary versus Taya was going to be the cleanser for the predictable Gail win, and of course that match got canceled. Yeah, hopefully it still happens in January. How would you write things better? Well, you know, I'm gonna try to enter that fantasy booking thing competition, Impact Asylum, if I have the time. Um, if you're interested in how I would book stuff in general, uh, click the link down below when this gets uploaded. Click the link called TKO. That's a fantasy booking thing I did a couple years ago, where I booked a fictional knockout spin-off show. And yeah, that's how I book stuff. Yeah, Paige and ADR broke up. Yeah, apparently. Hopefully they're both in a better place now, because that had to be one of the most toxic wrestling relationships I'd ever seen. Have you read a CM Punk written Marvel comic? No, I have not. In fact, I have not read any Marvel comics in a while because, quite frankly, Marvel's comics division is the drizzling shits right now. They've gone full-blown SJW, and most of their comics are downright unreadable. Not all of them. There's a few good ones in there, but for the most part, it's a pretty sad state of affairs over at the House of Ideas right now. Their movies are kicking ass, but the comics are not so good. I'm actually wondering if Bendis leaving might possibly improve things. At least now they can kill off Riri Williams if they want to. 'Too early. She's been in TNA for over a year. Rosemary and Sienna have been champs already. Yes, but Rosemary and Sienna were not doing the rookie who doesn't know how to wrestle gimmick. Okay, love it or hate it, that's the character they gave Allie, and she made it work. I would argue that if they just put her in there as a wrestler, her character would not be as over as she is. She got over as like the lovable, innocent, bunny newcomer rookie character. That's why she's over, because people love that character. Now, if you want to, now you're saying you want her to be the champion. I want to see her win the title in the future, but I think there's no reason to rush it yet, because there's still more that you can do with the character the way it is right now. Because people love her character for what it is right now. If you make her the champion, you gotta change it, because then she's not really the underdog anymore, because people love her as the underdog. What they gotta do is just continue building her until she gets better, a little better, and a little better, and a little better, and eventually you can have her challenge for the title and win the title, but it doesn't need to happen yet. There's still more they can do with the character. You don't have to rush it. Rushing it is gonna hurt her in the long run. I'm telling you. Damn it. Okay. Allie, if she won early, would be like Bayley all over again. There you go. They ruined Bayley when she came to the main roster. They put the belt on her way too fucking soon. And look at her now. She used to be one of the most over stars on the Raw roster, and now she barely gets a reaction anymore. Yeah, her winning the title way too soon wasn't the only reason for that. The other reason was that they booked her like shit. But winning the title too soon was a big part of it. They've ruined Bayley. Giving Allie the title too soon might ruin her. They don't need to give Allie the Knockouts title yet. They need to just take their time. She doesn't need the title yet, guys. I know you want to see it, but I'm telling you, you just gotta be patient. It'll mean more if they take their time and do it right. Looking forward to the Punisher. Yes, but I don't know if they do the Frank Castle Karen Page relationship stuff that I'm afraid they might do, I'm out. Fuck that. No. God, those annoying dumbasses on Tumblr who keep shipping that stuff. No, that's the worst thing. If you know anything about either character, it's just no, it's wrong. It's completely wrong. Thoughts on Daniel Bryan wanting to wrestle again? If his health permits, I'd love to see it. But I don't want him to do anything that's going to put him in the hospital or worse. That's about all I got. And that is going to do it, I think. Thanks for tuning in. I'm glad we could actually do this on time on the right day for once. And let's see. I might do another stream later today or possibly tomorrow to test the microphone. Still got to pull that out. But also, I'm going, if I have the time, I'm going to enter that competition on Impact Asylum. And fantasy book, a couple weeks of Impact. Who knows? I could use that $20 gift card, and you never know who might read it. So, if you want to support me on that, that'd be cool. Otherwise, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for all the questions and comments, and I will talk to you guys possibly later today or tomorrow. Gotta unbox that microphone. We'll see. Okay, over, out.